straight out of a comic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Straight Out of a Comic Book. I am your host, the anomaly, Will Pharaoh. This is a very special edition of Straight Out of a Comic Book. It is a kayfabe edition. Now, if you are a fan of myself or Khleo Thomas, you know we're fans of wrestling. We had a kayfabe podcast, which is still going. Just, right now, with everything happening with the pandemic and everything like that, a lot of our stuff has been kind of taken away from this pride and joy. But wrestling still always comes up as a conversation. So I thought it best that we go on something not topical, but a little bit evergreen. And that brought out even the tech guy, Kadeem, to want to talk about this. And of course, if you don't know already, we're talking about wrestling's Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Now, I'm expanding it. Fuck 4. We going 5. We building out an extra space on the mountain
Top
for
5
5 of them. Now, the first thing I do want to know is, I want to give the layout, and I want to make sure that we're straight on that. Are we sticking with just WWE, or is this the entire wrestling industry?
I think it's a personal decision. If we're talking wrestling, then yeah, it's WWE, it's WCW, it's ECW, it's ICM, it's New Japan, it's ROH, it's Ring of Honor, it's a whole bunch of other shit.
Ring of Honor.
So just throw out your favorite wrestler, and it has to fill out your 5. You can't have 6. Can only be 5.
Okay. All right. I can already imagine that there's 2 that's already filled, and I feel like it's really only 3 that we got to fill up, because if Stone Cold and The Rock is not on this Mount Rushmore, then what are we doing?
Then what are we talking about here?
What are we talking
What are
about?
we really talking about then?
I mean, y'all not wrong. I mean, I wish I could try to fight that thing. It's just, but it is what it is.
You
The
can't.
Rock and Stone Cold literally. I mean, you can get into the whole technician or tactical wrestling versus the other type of wrestling. You know what I mean? Like the technicians and all that stuff. Obviously, they weren't the most tactical wrestlers around. They just weren't.
But actually, Stone Cold was very
he
technical.
was known as what, the ringleader, the ringmaster.
Yeah. Ringmaster. And The Rock was very proficient in moves. Like, he was probably one of the best in-ring performers, not technician, but performers.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, if you pull that out and just go Impact and everything else, you can't leave them out. You just can't do it. They're in there. Those are like the only 2 rivals I've ever seen elevate one another. Like, these were 2 dudes who, remember, like, Stone Cold was not supposed to make it. Like Eric Bischoff said himself, you're just a guy in white and black trunks. How can I sell that? The Rock, when he came out as Rocky Maivia, they hated it. It was 2 guys who had pretty much got designed to fail.
Yeah.
And not only that, and when these 2 cross paths, boom, 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 to where both of their their last matches capped at WrestleMania.
Yep.
In Seattle, WrestleMania 23 or 24.
I think it was 20.
I was just talking about it this morning on my Instagram Live. Someone asked me who my favorite wrestlers were, and I brought up Austin and Stone Cold, but for very different reasons, in my opinion. When I go back and watch the network, and I watch every time Rock's music hits, and that microphone is in his hand, he has complete control of that moment. They're hanging on to everything he's saying, waiting to finish his buzzwords, waiting to finish his buzz lines. We were just so sold on everything that he did. So Rock that's on my Mount Rushmore. He's in my number 1 position for that reason. But then Stone Cold shares that number 1 position to me because of, with him, once that glass breaks, mayhem is just ensuing.
Yes.
Now we don't, and I don't know when it really, of course we know was it King of the Ring?
Yes.
Where he the Austin 316 thing.
Yeah, obviously I just said I just whooped your ass. Yes. Who did he beat? He beat Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
Yep.
Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your
Whoop
ass."
your
Iconic moment, classic moment. Just spit it out, and it became everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I literally just bought 2 Austin 316 shirts from the WWE website last week. I got one still in the packaging. For Austin though, it's when that glass breaks, you know mayhem is ensuing, and you look forward to seeing him run down to that ring, stomp a mud hole in somebody, throw the beers up, middle fingers, stunner. Like, that's all you really need to see from Austin. We didn't really need promos from Austin. We really didn't. I didn't need to see him in the ring with a microphone. I just kind of wanted to see him backstage wilding. But he became the top guy of backstage wilding.
I will say the beer, more beer, tequila, and all those what's.
Crazy
And all
promo.
those what's.
What?
That put him to another level as well. See, that's the thing. I'm thinking even before the what era of himself. But when that what stuff took off, bro, it's still such a popular thing that we do. Well, obviously we're not in arenas right now, but like, it's still the thing. It still has to happen.
Austin 316 is still the most sold shirt in WWE history, and it's still being sold today. So it's like, yo, like,
when you just go for Impact and Impact alone, you can't leave these two.
Can't leave those two out.
Can't leave them out. Now, when it gets any further than this,
I would say who could be a nomination for the third slot? Like, who would you nominate to go? Okay, this is who I think could fill it and why. Look, as you can see,
there it is.
It's still the best.
It's still pristine.
We do this shit, Will.
Yes, indeed.
What was the question?
I said,
number 3?
Who would you nominate to go in the third slot of this Mount Rushmore?
Kadeem, I'm gonna let you go first, bro.
Oh man. As much as I love Shawn Michaels, as much as I love him as one of the best performers in that ring, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, he held those names up there for a reason. I gotta go with Hunter, man. I'm going with Hunter.
Talk about it.
I'm going with Hunter.
Talk about it, Kadeem.
I'm going with Hunter. I have to go with Hunter. There's there's a lot of it. Of course, you can even go Taker. I'd get if you even go Taker for third. I'm gonna go Hunter, the cerebral assassin, the everything that the blending of reality to actually wrestling and the way he did it, and actually how amazing his matches were and building storylines and plots. And obviously this being, they call him the game for a reason, because he bodied the game of wrestling more than anyone we have seen when it comes to, of course, the cheat code of Stephanie McMahon, but we gonna push that to the side. We're gonna push the merits of Stephanie McMahon to the side.
Hold on, because there's something to that. And I'm gonna get to that too.
Right. But obviously, his understanding of watching. Of course, I feel like he was just a student of the game. He was a student. You know what I mean? He watched everyone else and what they did and the mistakes they made and capitalized off of it. The whole Click situation. Like, we always hear stories about the Click, and Hunter wasn't really with the whole drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. Like, he never was with it. Was he around those guys? Sure. In order to pick up the game, in order to understand how the business works. But other than that, he wasn't about that life like that. Hunter really wasn't. So I got to put Hunter up there. He's third.
I could. Go ahead, Khleo.
Bro, and I'm on the same train as my brother with this. Hunter is for sure in my Mount Rushmore because everything that you just broke down, life imitating art or art imitating life, however you put it, is that. He called himself the game for a reason. He became this business. He became the company that he worked for. Yes, we can include the Stephanie move as a part of the game. You can include that. He became the top guy amongst heavy hitters like Taker, like Rock, like Stone Cold. Yes, and he is a student of not only Shawn Michaels, but Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. He comes from that tree, but he just had these other tools, bro. Like his mind, it's his brain. The cerebral assassin thing is real. He is a calculator. That's crazy because it's his character. Him in that ring, he's calculated. Him with that sledgehammer, he's calculated. But in real life, Hunter really might be that guy. And I just want to highlight the Rock versus Triple H ladder match that took place at SummerSlam in 1998. I did not watch that match until about 2 years ago. That for sure solidified Hunter as one of my favorites. If you've never seen that match, ladies and gentlemen, it's on YouTube. But if you have the network, please go support the WWE. Go watch The Rock versus Triple H. It was a ladder match for, I believe, the Intercontinental title. It was at SummerSlam in 1998. It's one hell of a match. These two beat the living shit out of each other. Go watch it. Go ahead, Will.
Yes, indeed. I was not expecting this to be a three-way agreement.
I wasn't either.
Looking at me crazy when I say Triple H, man. But yeah, like y'all said, this is a three-way agreement, and he was cerebral in everything. Like, and even if you let's take the Stephanie thing out. Let's take that out. Let's take out any of that. First, like you said, he was in the clique. He broke kayfabe during a time where kayfabe was not allowed to be broken. Like, you were supposed to live your character. And so when the clique, which was Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Shawn Michaels, were all Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were getting ready to go to WCW, they all broke kayfabe at a show in Madison Square Garden. So, of course, at the time, Shawn Michaels was big, so Vince couldn't touch Shawn Michaels. But you're not supposed to be having the good guy and the bad guy interacting with one another. So who got the short end of the stick?
Hunter.
Triple H.
Hunter
got blackballed for years and did not leave. So now fast forward, we got not only, again, take out the Stephanie thing. Triple H has a career-ending injury twice, came back better than ever. Not only that, I hold him personally responsible for the rising of making these storylines more realistic. Remember when Stone Cold got hit by the car? That was the first time we had really saw like, oh shit, like bro, like yo, it really go down backstage. Like yo, it really is like how Austin say, DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You didn't really see that. It was more gimmicky before, like you started seeing it from the Triple H side. Like you saw it with Taker, like the whole kidnapping, the cult and stuff, but it was still like, okay, we get it, this because we're here. When you saw that and then it's like Austin's out with an injury, you like, it muddled that line of like, yo, like, did y'all really like do
like
this?
That, man,
Because,
huh?
yeah, like you wasn't really like, you didn't really know. And that wasn't until Triple H started really having these storylines. And then like, let's fast forward, 14-time champion. Other thing, responsible for Randy Orton, Dave Bautista, Evolution, DX, China, getting Shawn Michaels back to where he was supposed to be. NXT, Ric Flair. Ric Flair was down and out swirling the fucking wrestling gutter, not being treated like the 16-time champion as he should be. Triple H found this man, polished him back off, and reprised his man. Like, I really will say, had it not been for him, we would not have the Ric Flair we have right now, and he would not still be he would not be the trending person he is outside of the wrestling culture, had it not been for Triple H being such a fan of this person, having so much care for this person, to risk his career to bring him back.
Yep.
Find me any wrestler that topped all those things, and then you can tell me Triple H don't deserve it.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, because obviously the idea of I don't know if anyone was going to pick Hogan. I'm just going to go into that now. I don't know if anyone's going to pick Hogan, but the idea that Triple H would, in a sense, I feel like he did learn this from Vince McMahon himself, for the simple fact that Vince, like me and of course my brother talk about it all the time. Vince, when it comes to business, Vince is gonna do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. The whole Eric Bischoff situation, that alone showed you how much he doesn't even, if it makes dollars, it makes sense to Vince. That's all it is. It's always gonna be a business. He doesn't take shit personal. You know what I mean? Never takes shit personal. So the idea that Hogan, how selfish Hogan was when he was on top, and how he had to be on top, and how we've seen what he did at WCW and heard the stories and how he buried people. But the idea that Hunter knew that bringing back Ric Flair, the legend, in order to even put himself on a higher level, in order to even use Ric Flair to even get himself even higher. Like, bro, you can't. He learned that from Vince. There's no way he didn't pick that up from Vince.
Oh yeah, and then he did, and then too, he didn't leave, and that was the thing about like
The loyalty.
I don't consider really Hogan top 5 anymore because of the fact that like, yo, don't get me wrong, like you're a pillar in this, and I give you that, but the fact is, bro, like you left at a time when the company was going down. Like the company was in a rough spot, and then you ran to the competition. Though you had probably one of the best heel turns of all time, you see what happened to the company. You see what didn't happen to you. So just imagine what could have happened if you stayed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine where you'd be now. Like, don't get me wrong, you're a legend, you're an icon, but you know we see like how that career is continuing to be tainted and stuff like that. Imagine where you'd be had you not left. We see what happened with Triple H when the going get tough and you still stick to your guns.
Yeah.
And we see what happened with.
You know what I appreciate the most? Like this wrestling thing is so much more than just entertainment. I think for people like me, you, and Kadeem, Will, like we see the life lessons in it, and that's fine that people don't see it. And that's great. That I think it's a select few who can pick up on these things. Right. And with Hunter specifically, though, you know what I admire so much? That he's been around for eras, right? Yeah. All the personalities that he's had to come across when he was the star in front of the camera and having to transition slowly but surely into the back of the camera and then having to recruit new people and keep the older generation happy and keep the newer generation coming in. That is something I appreciate so much because I'm like, he has to have a level he has to be able to
self-awareness. Huh? Self-awareness, I think.
Self-awareness. He knows who he is. We all know who he is. But he knows, when you bring up the Ric Flair thing specifically, this is the legend, Ric Flair. And imagine how he has to talk to Ric Flair to kind of rein him in so that he can get a job done and not be woo Ric Flair at all times.
But just to capitalize on that too, bro.
Of understanding to bring someone down to, hey, Flair, need you right here, right now.
Randy too, though.
Listen, but go ahead.
Randy too.
Say, just to add to what you say, Randy too, and his hot-headedness.
Yep. Yeah.
Just to add to what you were saying, though. But no, please continue, bro.
No, that's just what I admire it so much. And there's moments like that when I think of it, it's like, yo, we come across a lot of crazy personalities in our industry and our business, but to do what they do, like he's a boss. He became a boss in this business. The game is literally in the game's hands.
CFO.
Huh? CFO. He's COO, and then Stephanie is CFO.
That's what it is.
He's COO, Steph is CFO, and she just got named number 2 most powerful woman in the world in the Forbes joint recently, which congratulations to her. Shout out to Stephanie. So it's just something that it's worth looking at, admiring, and figuring out how can you adapt. Because I don't know. I've never met the guy, but I can only assume that you have to have a level of, like Kadeem said, self-awareness and how you strategically talk to people to be able to get whatever this vision you have in mind to become your reality. And it's worth admiring for someone like Triple H, bro. Like even from the outside looking in, it's worth admiring. Shout out to Hunter, bro. He's on there for me.
Oh yeah, just to piggyback what you said before we move on, just to as you said, like adapted throughout the years, just like how we said, like how we always highlight with you and like how you've moved throughout your career, Khleo. It's the same thing with him and his wrestling. Like not even just from the moves on the backstage, wrestling wise. He's gone through the attitude era, the new aggression era, the reality era, and then now before the reality era, but the one before that one, like all of these. So he's had to adapt even his wrestling style from the old school wrestling style to the hardcore matches, like tossing fucking Mick Foley through a Hell in a Cell, going on to thumbtacks. He's had to become like the technical, strategic wrestler, the brawler. Like every time, like whatever was hot, Triple H adapted to and wound up somehow making it through the main event. And it wasn't just because of Stephanie. And so that's the thing I think really too, like I think a lot of people will always try to throw at him, but I'm like, yo, to be honest with you, Stephanie is probably number 4 or 5 on the things you can highlight for him as to why his career is where it's at. Him marrying the boss's daughter really was just, it's already like having an A plus
icing on the
you want
cake.
extra credit. Yeah, it's like, oh, here's your extra 10 points. Now you got 110 on your score. Like, yeah.
I would say that. I would say this: if he was ass, we would have figured it out pretty quick. If he was not good, even if he did marry Stephanie, let's just go and like I said, let's separate it. I told you that's why I said start with my thing. Separate that, and then look at what Hunter is and what Hunter has done. Separate Stephanie, because if he was a terrible wrestler, if he was not good at wrestling, he wasn't good with his mic and his actual playing up a story and actually being able to do it. No, we wouldn't have cared. Would have been like, then we for sure would have called it out. Like, oh yeah, Stephanie is really holding this man down. But we honestly look. If you look from the outside looking in, that's not what this is. It's never been that.
When the man first started, and that's what made me have respect for him. He had said, Vince gave him a 3-year contract. No. I think it was Eric Bischoff, because he was in WCW before. He was like, Eric was like, Dusty Rhodes was like, we'll give you a 3-year contract to be able to be in here and show us what you can do. He said, no, give me a 1-year contract. He said, if I can't prove to you in 1 year that I'm supposed to be here, I ain't supposed to be here.
Yeah. Exactly.
And 25 years later, where is he at?
Consistency. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. Consistency, man. That's crazy that he's able to still be that relevant. But we can continue on. What we got next?
So we got 3. So there's 2 left. 2 slots left on this Mount Rushmore.
Man,
I get this mine right now.
Go ahead.
What you got, Khleo?
John Cena.
Damn it.
Cena.
That's
Cena.
mine.
It's Cena, bro. We could, I get the people want to hate him because he's for the kids. He's a superhero, but he's so much more. He's so bulletproof on that microphone. We hadn't seen a bulletproof like that since Rock. And then we have a Punk in there, kind of. Not even kind of. Punk is up there, microphone skill-wise. But Cena is so good, bro, at controlling everything when that camera is on. Every aspect of it. How the match goes, calling the spots, talking to the crowd, talking to the referee, and involving the commentators, playing up, getting beaten down when he's always been the face, so he's never had the heel turn. But like all of it. So Cena for sure, he's on my Rushmore, dog.
Yeah, man. I can't knock it, bro. Like, nope. You don't get the moniker Big Match John for no reason. And I've said it before, like when it comes to like referencing the NBA finals, like it's a different thing when you at the big show. It's a difference when you the main event, when you gotta finish off the show, when you gotta close, when you're the last thing people are gonna leave the arena seeing. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders, especially if you're working with someone who has never been in it, who don't appreciate that, or who is stubborn and don't want to listen. That's a lot to handle. But not only that, accolades wise, like, come on. We only had one person that's a 16-time. This dude, the only one who's left is what? John Cena, 15. Yep. Anytime he comes back, whether you love him or you hate him, you something. So that's something.
Polarizing, baby. The first polarizing superstar in the WWE to me. Because everything, we're still playing by old school rules in the Attitude Era, but he was the first polarizing athlete where you would hear nothing but boos in the arena. But his merch selling like crazy. And he's been the top guy for freaking 8 years plus.
Super Cena. Super Cena. I like calling him Super Cena because the idea, of course, the matches of him getting his ass whooped, and then all of a sudden that 5 move of death come by, and then he right back in the match, and he gonna finish you off. Good old Super. Or how many times he's kicked out? I don't remember. John Cena has kicked out of a lot of shit in his matches. Yes. He been getting destroyed, technically, in the whole grand scheme of things, and he will get up almost all the time. Good old Super Cena. So. Yeah, no, he's for sure number 4 for me as well, man. You can't knock it. You can't knock Cena. as much. Like I grew a lot of respect when he fought Sabu as well. If you've seen the Sabu fight, when the whole ECW versus WWE thing happened, he went and fought Sabu. I was just like, all right, John, this
RVD too.
RVD fights were good too,
bro. No, but like think, bro, to take the prestigious WWE title and hand it over to Rob Van Dam
in his spot, in his home,
in Philly. But then not only that though, your rival cost you that.
Yep.
That's a lot. And I think that's
amazing booking.
Yeah, that's a lot of credit he don't get for it. And I said this, and a lot of people don't agree with it, but it's like if you think about it, it's true. He is the perfected version of Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
But Hulk Hogan was
that's 100% fact. Who the hell doesn't agree with that?
Because people are like, no, he's no Hogan, he's no this. I'm like, yo, Hogan had 5 moves.
Yep.
Hogan was great with the crowd. Hogan had a great brand, had a great mic skill. John Cena just
and don't forget, sold to the kids just as much.
Sold to the kids.
Hulkamania was literally was very popular with obviously the kids at that time. Vitamins, all of that.
You can't
say your prayers, eat your vitamins, brother.
Same thing. Hustle, loyalty, respect. It's the same brand. Yep. It just works better here because we got social media. It's easier for the kids. And yeah, and I don't want to hold him responsible for going from ruthless aggression to that era. I'm like, yo, that's not his fault. But eventually, like kids are going to want to get into. That's how it started. It's a rotation. It always happens like that. Golden era. Kids were the ones that were watching Hulk Hogan. That's why you had cartoons about him.
Yep.
Then it started getting into the teenagers. Then it got into the adults. It's the same cycle. It's just started over.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. John Cena has definitely seen his way into my top 5.
I was also gonna say this. I always make this joke with my brother, and I say, if Vince had another daughter, John Cena would have married her. Yep. And he would have been just where Triple H is right now.
Facts.
That's how much he was in with it. That's how much John is given to the actual industry, the WWE industry. That's how much he was fed into the whole industry. He would have married that second daughter.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. John would have did. John would have did.
Yeah. So dang, this it's crazy that this is a 4-way agreement. So we only got one more slot.
Damn it.
This is gonna be the dangerous one.
Yeah, this is gonna be the dangerous one. Cause I can already tell you right now, I don't think it's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Shawn Michaels is if you ask me who my favorite wrestler is, I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say Shawn, just because of what he was able to do in the ring. And again, if he didn't get injured, if his back didn't go out, and of course the whole drug problem, we don't know where Shawn would have went. Shawn was incredible. He was amazing. But obviously because of that, and obviously the hiatus, him coming back, there's just a lot of times that we lost Shawn where he wasn't able to fight Stone Cold. He wasn't able to fight The Rock again. Which the whole Rock situation was for another reason, but I'm not gonna bring that one up. No, it's fine. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But that's the reason why Shawn was not able to make this list for me, unfortunately.
Man, I got one, but y'all ain't gonna like it. So I'm gonna hold off real quick. I ain't gonna say it was my first nomination.
I'm gonna say, well, you know what? I would. Let me rethink mine, because I would have said this if this man stopped a few years ago. I would have said it.
Who?
I would have said Taker if he just stopped 4 years ago. I would have gave it to him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You take away the stopping, if he stopped where he's at, nigga, he ain't no different than Kane. I'm gonna just be 100 with you. Like, don't nobody be real. Like, it's always dope to see Taker there, but it's just the same thing with Kane, bro. Like, I'm glad he put in the years. He has been a great character icon. But there are a lot of people that are just like that. Like, I to this day, like, the only thing you are known for a lot of stuff, but to go on your top 5, I can't. Yeah. But you got hell of a respect. You in my top 10, but you probably like number 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the consistency. It's just being around. But the thing is, he's around for too long now. Now it's too much. Yeah. Now he's doing damage to his. I think, did he finally retire officially?
He said he didn't. So he didn't retire. He's just said, "I've done every. There's no reason for me to come back."
Okay. Until there is a time. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. But he's like, now I have no reason to come back. There's nobody I can think of that I'd want to face, basically, was what he was getting.
Okay, so yeah, Taker would have made my list for sure if he would have stopped. Ooh, man. This is a tough one.
Who you got over there, Khleo?
This is hard. This is hard.
I know mine.
This is hard, man, because I appreciate Shawn Michaels so much for his in-ring ability. Like, he's literally the only one who I watch and I wonder if he's really like hurt. He's the only one.
Yeah. Right.
The only one. But not only that,
Cell game's unstoppable.
He's so smooth in the ring, Will. It's so smooth. It's 1-2, bounce off the ropes. 1-2, it's so smooth. Orton, same thing for me. Same thing. He's right in there. He might be one of the most smoothest in the rings of all time.
I mean, again, I don't remember much of Randy Orton's matches. That's my only thing. Of course, he's obviously picked up the whole with the RKO out of nowhere thing. Is picked up a mind of its own.
Yeah. Man, let me just go ahead and say it, man.
Go ahead and say it.
Edge.
I was gonna say
number fucking 5 on this Mount Rushmore.
I was gonna say
Bruh, come on, yo. Edge is like, yo, you don't get the name the ultimate opportunist for nothing. Bro, to go from probably hands down one of the greatest tag teams, still to this day being a part of one of the greatest wrestling moments, spearing Jeff Hardy off of a fucking title held suspended in the air, to going to the R-rated superstar, to basically having a Jerry Springer moment in real life be put into your storyline.
Can't wait for that to become actually a live action. Can't wait for them to do it. Can't wait.
Bro, you popularized the Money in the Bank shit because of how many times you won. Every time people, like, you fought against the absolute best. Every WrestleMania moment with him versus The Undertaker when they were in Orlando, Hell in a Cell match. When he had to face John Cena. When he speared fucking Mick Foley through a table set on fire at WrestleMania in Detroit, in the Motor City. Edge has went from this guy that was just a regular tag team person to this pinnacle, and the fact that he had to retire, and the fact that the year after he went in the Hall of Fame, it wasn't because of the retire, it's because of the staple you made coming in. Rated RKO, like his Intercontinental runs, his European runs, like all the way through the Attitude Era. Like, bro, like Edge showed not only can I be a tag team person, but you didn't think I could do singles competition, and I did that. You
killed
didn't
that
think,
shit too.
Yeah, you didn't think I could be a main eventer and carry a world heavyweight title, and I did that. You didn't think I could stand up against the big boys and not only do that, but give them a run for their money. I did that. I made John Cena do a TLC match where he had to throw me off the top of a ladder to win. I did everything you thought I couldn't do, and I exceeded it. To where even when your music plays, on this day, I see you can't help but sing the next line.
Oh, he up there.
But if you have somebody better, let me know.
So y'all two going with that fifth spot for Edge, right?
Not just yet. I want to hear more names, but
before I say
that, because it's hard. Will, it's so hard to round off that 5, bro. It's so hard. Like, where are you pulling from? Really, I don't know.
I have mine. I have mine.
You got yours?
I have another name to bring to the table, at least.
Who you got?
Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle.
Oh, that was gonna be my other one too.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt,
I have seen so many matches of Kurt Angle's that I remember vividly. I remember Kurt Angle's matches so vividly. for the way he came in, the way he was kind of the baby face or working for Vince when he had hair and everything like that, and then he made that turn and turned into an absolute dick and talking shit while wrestling. I loved Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, and the man can wrestle. Obviously, he's a gold medalist. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. But his moveset and everything else.
He won a gold medal with a what? He won a gold medal with a what?
Freaking neck.
Broken neck.
So, Kurt Angle is who I'm bringing to the table for my number 5. It's going to be it's hard for me to get off Kurt Angle, bro.
And see, here's the only thing that I feel like kind of messed Kurt Angle up is his crash and burn when he left.
He did leave at the wrong time.
Hey, you know what's so messed up about it, though? His TNA run wasn't bad.
But it's TNA.
Yeah. But it's TNA. TNA and Impact is like, they're still, they're like even right now, like, for instance, Drew McIntyre is currently the WWE champion. Yet, I don't count nothing from Impact. I'm like, McIntyre 3MB, took a break. NXT came back stunting, holding it down. You deserve to be champ right now.
Yeah.
The Impact shit, I'm like, I don't know why. For some reason, I just cannot equate that to somebody's career. Like even AJ Styles, Japan, Ring of Honor, all the other stuff, Impact, TNA.
Yeah, that's
something about the E, man. Like it's great for the culture of wrestling to have so many different companies out there where you can show off, your skills and your love for the business. And us as fans, we can't appreciate it. But it's just something about that WWE stamp. They all dream to get the year, brand. They all dream to be underneath that flag and meet Vince and really have that moment at a WrestleMania, because that's what the biggest of the biggest is. Knock to New Japan for having their own wrestle super show over there when they go off, like when Shinsuke and AJ killed that shit years ago.
Yeah.
Dope, but it's just something about that brand, dog, and you just can't knock it. You want that stamp, and they've all gone and come back, and AJ is a top guy. AJ really is a top dude, bro.
Yeah. What did they say? He spent 60% of his career as a champion in WWE. Like that's like the staple he's gone. But it's like, but you've now noticed though that they've structured it a lot better as to where this stands. Like you said, bro, WWE is going to take this from WCW, where the big boys play. Like, that is the NBA. Like that's the mainstream. Like if you want to be a multi-million-dollar wrestler, if you want to be known throughout the world for your career, that's where you go. If you want to be someone that loves the purity of wrestling and the actual wrestling form, you go to IWGP. You go to Japan, because that's where you see wrestlers. That's where it's like, yo, it is literally about to come down to who's gonna knock off their last move and get it up, because they beat each other down till they can't go no more. And then you have these subdivisions like TNA. TNA is just, it's like WWE, but it's like, yo, it's that those few missing factors that don't make you them. Same thing with AEW right now. AEW has a very great start off. Like their branding is wonderful, but it's just certain key elements that you're missing that WWE got that you don't, and that's why it keeps them number one in the main. And then that's why you have these other subsidiaries like Ring of Honor, like TNA, like I always forget the NWP, I believe, and stuff like that. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong, but it's just those key little elements. So,
but
I mean, go ahead.
NXT.
NXT fire. But I was gonna say, I mean, I just actually saw, speaking of AEW, I just saw Cody Rhodes. He's gonna be on some show with Snoop Dogg. I mean, it's obvious it's on TBS or TNT. One of the Turners, obviously one of the Turner shows. But it's AEW. It said AEW's Cody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's how he wants to brand his name. They said Snoop Dogg, somebody else from Impractical Jokers. AEW's Cody. It even said Cody Rhodes.
Well, you can't use Cody Rhodes. You know that, right?
WWE
won't give him the right, so he can't use Cody Rhodes. He has to go by Cody, and he didn't want to use his real name, which is Cody Runnels, I believe. Yeah, so he can't use Rhodes.
But that's my But my dad though is Dusty Rhodes, right? Like that's
not his name. That's not their name. Their real name is Reynolds. Just like Rick Flair is Richard Fleer. But that's the thing. They own that name.
That is bull. That's bull.
Oh, believe me, he's been fighting to try to get it back. He's even gone on Twitter to say like, yo, like they won't give me the right to our name, our legacy that we built. That's why they still got the Dusty Rhodes Classic, because they own the name Rhodes.
Wow. I didn't even know.
That's why Goldust don't go by his name no more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's this business.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew what it was.
That's crazy. All I know is that I'm still leaving my man Kurt Angle up there. Kurt Angle.
We got Kurt Angle, we got Edge.
Kurt Angle, we got Edge.
I reserve my fifth. I don't have a fifth.
You have a fifth.
No.
I don't have a fifth. I don't have a fifth. Will, I got nothing to tell you, bro. I don't have a fifth.
Well, we go, but this slot gonna get filled. That's what she said. We don't leave straight out of a comic book unfilled. So I guess that means it's between Kurt Angle and Edge.
Then I'm going. If I had to choose between those two, I gotta go Kurt Angle. I was there. I was at WrestleMania when he had his when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was there that year in Orlando, and having that moment to be in the arena on Raw the next night and getting a chance to do the "You Suck" along with the song, man. And yeah, and Edge did that to Angle. Let's not forget that. Edge punk ass made that a part of Angle's song. That sucks. He did that.
And I'm like, that's why you gotta give it to Edge.
No, when it comes to heels of our era, of like from being kids to now, Edge is up there. It's Edge, it's Hunter. Hey, you know what? I know exactly who my fifth is. You know who it is, Will? Chris Jericho.
Oh my God.
Chris Jericho's my five. You wanna know why? Because he has the best debut and the best intro song of everybody.
I wouldn't say debut, but intro.
What? Best debut.
No,
best build up.
No. Best build up. Worst disappointment ever. It was like Star Wars, the new series when it dropped. All that hype for a mediocre film. I was like, all this hype for a mediocre wrestler. But I do not disagree that he should be in this discussion on Mount Rushmore. Because that man has done a lot.
Yes, he has.
I was gonna say apparently Taz's debut might be better.
I remember when Taz came to WWE.
Yeah, have you ever seen that debut? That's. I mean, of course, obviously Taz is Taz. I mean, I don't really know much about him on the ECW. I know he was amazing on ECW. He was there.
He's good, but it's just the same thing like everybody else. Like it was more. This dude was a fighter. And so it was like, you know, like it's not like on the WWE superstar type shit. Like, I'm a fighter. Let me get my money, make sure my stuff good. I'm ready to go. Like that was kind of like Taz's. You can tell Star wasn't really on his mindset coming.
Yeah, but I remember seeing that intro. I've actually saw that video. I think I seen an interview with Taz talking about it and how that actually scared a lot of people in the E. Like, So.
Bro, because it was like, yo, I would not want to get put in a chokehold by you. Like, you really look like you gonna make me.
Yep. Yeah, there's his whole demeanor and everything like that. Apparently, Taz rubbed people the wrong way. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say is just his intro. His debut is on the level of Jericho. That's all I was gonna get out there. But I don't think Jericho makes that list. I gotta be honest.
He's up for discussion.
He's top 10.
I don't think.
First of all, it's my Mount Rushmore. He's up there with the braided beard too. With the braided beard.
I'd rather that than what he got now.
And the red highlights at the bottom of his blonde hair.
Not the red streaks. Not the red streaks.
You don't want this?
Give me that one. Give me that one.
The perfect Jericho I'm talking about though.
Give me that one.
When they finally had the invasion build up and finally getting to pay off, and it was the WCW versus WWF. Like how Jericho came out that day. That's the Jericho I'm talking about.
I want that Jericho. The one that Will's doing with his hair. That's the Jericho that I remember.
You don't want this Jericho? You don't want this Jericho?
Pineapple head ass
Jericho. This how he debuted? How'd it go?
Oh my goodness.
Please shut the hell up. He had a bunch of little things. He had
I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
Winnipeg, he called ass clowns, the list. He reinvented himself every time.
He did.
Jerichoholics.
It's your man.
It's your man.
And also
don't act like the Walls and the Lions Salt ain't crazy.
No, if he had the code breaker back in the day, he's absolutely top 5. If he had
he had it. I don't know why he got rid of it.
No, but if he had code breaker by the time he won the two when he was undisputed, if he was pulling off code breakers, he was absolutely top 5. He would have been top 5 easy.
Facts.
If he had code breaker at that time, he didn't have it at that time. He had Lion Salts and Walls. That's all he had. So
I think I'm gonna go with Edge, man. I think I'm gonna have to go with Edge on it. But I would definitely respect the talk of Chris Jericho being on Mount Rushmore just for the fact that he is just like to compare like him to an Undertaker. We want Undertaker to kind of stop. It's like, bro, you've done more than enough. Like, you don't have to keep doing this. Jericho does it and it stays consistent. Like when he went to Japan, I was not mad that he became Intercontinental Champ. I was like, okay, Jericho, I see you.
Yep.
Okay. Then he goes to AEW and you're made the head champ. And not only that though, it makes sense and you're carrying it. You're helping build other people up. You're really like giving these folks a chance and stuff like that. So, you know, I still have my opinion about him and stuff like that, but it never takes away from the respect of what he has done. Still think though you're in the B class. It's just gonna be my thought.
I think we have to throw a name out there before we get out of here. Before we're done.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar. We're just not going to talk about Brock. I mean,
listen.
I don't like Brock.
Straight out of a comic book. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us.
We got to talk about Brock.
Why would we talk about Brock? Let's talk. If that's the case, we need to talk about the Hurricane because he deserves to be on Mount Rushmore.
We out of here then. If you were doing this, I'm
Dane Helms.
You didn't stay in the back because there was a hurricane coming through. Let's talk about sexual chocolate, not the world's strongest man. Sexual chocolate.
How about the world's biggest love machine, Viscera? How about Viscera?
Man, shout out Viscera, bro. R.I.P. R.I.P. Viscera.
A lot of reaching going on here. You niggas should be stretching.
What? So we just not gonna talk about the Boogeyman and the impact that he made on this industry?
Hey, Boogie Slam was fire. I don't give a damn what anyone says. The
Boogie Slam was fire.
Give me that. Boom.
That was a fire ass move. I was like, I wish someone else had this.
Yeah, Boogie Slam that was a dope ass move. All right, we're not gonna talk about Scotty Too Hotty though.
Hey, no bullshit. I wish Samoa Joe got a real run, man. Samoa Joe's my only guy that I wish really could get a real run in the E. He does great commentary now, but they teased the KO versus Samoa Joe match at NXT and we never got it, and it still bothers me. I want that.
I was gonna say that's probably one of my biggest disappointments they did with KO.
Yeah.
Oh,
him and Bray Wyatt are in the same boat to me. I'm just like, so much potential gone, squandered.
Well, you know why they doing that though? That's Vince.
Yeah.
Vince don't like them because they fat.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
No. That was the exact. Like he literally told him, he was like, "Yo, bro, like if you don't lose weight, I'm not gonna book you as a main eventer." So like he had dropped the weight, but then he picked it back up, and like you see where he's at. And it's just like, but you get like look at like Rich said, if you think I'm lying, look at Keith Lee. Notice how they covered Keith Lee up when he came to Raw. Yep. Vince don't want fat people as his champions. He don't want them as main eventers. If you're gonna do it, cover yourself up. Same thing with Bray. He made him cover Bray up.
All I know is KO had a cannonball, didn't he? The running cannonball. Yeah, that man. KO had some crazy ass moves coming out.
No, KO's move repertoire is crazy. When KO came, KO debuted on Raw. Walked down to John Cena, told him, "You don't get to tell me how to do this." As a matter of fact, boom, pop a powerbomb, boom. Then they go into the pay-per-view match, and KO won. He won. We were running around the house. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Yo, John Cena just let KO come up from NXT and win." Crazy match. Match.
That's what I'm saying. So starting from there to where he is now, it's just like, yo.
You running in opening matches with Aleister Black? That's what you're doing?
Well, that's what we doing out here now, KO. You were we were going to talk. He had a rocket strapped to his back They put a rocket on his back.
They had like what almost every championship except what the WWE championship.
Yeah, they put a rocket strap to that man's back, and you see where he is now. It is what it is.
But you know what though? I can say this: the same thing happened to Sheamus, and then Sheamus somehow get that magic spark, have his run, and then that's it. And then he back where he is. So at least Kev is still in the picture though. Like he's still because he was in this WrestleMania again. So. Yep. You know, he's maintaining. Like you said, it's just gonna be one of them times where it's like when it's time for him to be called up, he'll be called up, and it seems like he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, good old Sheamus.
But yeah, so but this has been another episode of Straight Out of a Comic Book. I believe we have our Mount Rushmores. Most of ours were the same with The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, and Triple H. Varying out all three of our Mount Rushmores. Just that fifth spot was a little different. Khleo is going with Chris Jericho. Kadeem is going with Kurt Angle, and I am going with Edge. Let us know what your Mount Rushmore is in the wrestling business. Who are you putting as your top 5? We know it's 4 people on Mount Rushmore. We just made it into 5 before you start commenting in the comments. It's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
We know.
So, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, and turn on your notifications for here on my YouTube and on my twitch.tv/Will Pharaoh. Will Pharaoh, everything on the social medias as well. Same thing for these two, the Thomas brothers, who I would like to thank so much for taking y'all time for being here, talking wrestling with me. This was so much fun. Make sure you follow their Twitches, twitch.tv/Khleo Thomas. Probably one of the best streams out there. Not just saying that he's my friend, but believe me, these people have an amazing time there. As well as Kadeem on the morning tip. You want to know technical stuff. You want nostalgic kind of games. Games you've never even heard of that you are going to turn into your absolute favorites. This is the guy to see it. Twitch.tv/Thaddeus. Turn on those notifications so y'all know when these folks are streaming so you can go watch it. Follow them across their social medias. And as always, stay safe, stay great, and we will catch you next time.